It's that time of the week again. We've got to talk about our Super Six now. Rory's not with us today, obviously, so we'll get his predictions later on for the weekend. But I'm doing pretty well at the moment.
You are, mate.
Booth.
Yeah,
I'm leading us in terms of all round numbers, and I had a great weekend. The weekend just gone. I was 12 point in it.
That's amazing. Double figures in this game.
That's the first double figures any of us have got.
Is it?
Yes.
Maybe. I feel like I've done it before, but either way, you're ahead of me. I'm on 41 in total since we started with Super 6, which is an issue for me. I should be first, really.
Yeah, you were top of the league at one point,
Yeah.
basically on alphabetical order, was it?
I'll take that. Yeah, B. Yeah, Boovy, I'll take that.
I don't know how that worked, by the way, but yeah, he was at the top of the league temporarily. Now, I've managed to, take that spot from him. Now, obviously, we're in the middle of a game week as we're talking. So there's not much we can talk about, but we will be predicting our next round's fixtures at the end of this clip. So make sure you're keeping it locked for that. The title race at the moment has been going neck and neck. It's been absolutely incredible. Arsenal spent most of the season at the top of the league. Now City are hunting them down like a wild pack of wolves. But for you, what has been the best title race of all time?
Yeah, it's easy for me. It's the Aguero season for obvious reasons, and that's not me trying to wind you up. What we saw final day of the season against QPR for Aguero was, it wasn't just football, it wasn't just Premier League, it was sport. It was kind of a sporting moment of unbelievable kind of cinema to see Aguero score last minute. Wayne Rooney's there at Sunderland Stadium with light head in hands. Ferguson's telling all the players to get off the pitch, etc. Unbelievable. And the big thing for me was, Man United were good that season. It was the 4-4 Everton, some crazy results in that title race. And people talk about Arsenal in this season. They had an 8-point gap. People forget Man United had an 8-point lead going into the 6-game final stretch of the Premier League title campaign. 8 points, 6 games away from winning the league. That's unbelievable.
That 4-4 draw against Everton. It's something that will stick. I know there were a few other results as well, but that result, it was the one where you felt... I remember Fellaini and Pienaar scoring. I think we were 4-2 up in that game.
Yeah.
And it just felt like a pivotal moment. And you've been through title races. You know when you have those moments and it feels like, this is the moment where we're going to win the league. And that was one of them. I mean, my greatest, we've had a few that we've lost really badly. You think of that one, we lost it on goal difference. Horrible. We've lost other league titles by a point. We lost the one in 95 on the final day against Blackburn. We were playing against, West Ham. Could have scored a few goals. Andy Cole misses a few chances. Should have won the league. We've missed out a few times by very, very small margins. But the one for me, and again, it comes down to a final day, but for everything that came in those 10 days that followed, is on the 16th of May, 1999. I remember the date. At Old Trafford, Manchester United against Tottenham Hotspur. We need to win the league. We go behind for a Les Ferdinand goal, and we come back through David Beckham and Andy Cole. You've got Arsenal. I think we're playing Aston Villa at the time as well. And obviously the season before that, they had won the league. I think it was the Overmars or the Wiltord one. I get confused with them two anyway. But it was one of them moments, it was just before that. And so, when you have those battles with Arsenal and then you win it, and then you go on to see what followed, and 6 days later on the 22nd, you win the FA Cup, and then 4 days after that on the 26th, you win the Champions League. Yeah, that game, man. And it was Andy Cole righting the wrongs from 95 when he missed those chances as well.
Yeah.
And scoring. David Beckham scoring as well is big for me.
Are there any that stand out that aren't for United or City for our clubs?
Obviously, I think Man City and Liverpool, I can't pinpoint one because they all kind of blur into one for me.
Yeah.
But those
18, 19,
guys, in terms of one where I haven't been involved.
Yeah. The 98-point season. 98 points. How can Liverpool Football Club get 97 points in a Premier League season and not win the league?
Makes it so much better.
And that season, if they'd beaten us at the Etihad, they could have won the Champions League. They won the Champions League that season. They could have been double Invincibles and Champions League winners and over 100-point Centurions. They could have got closer to, I think it was 101, 102 points if certain results had changed. And if it wasn't for John Stones' clearance, which was about 0.15 centimetres over the line, we would have lost the league and they would have won it. And I think the drama of United, you've talked about it really well, and I think the Aguero moment, beautiful moments in terms of how dramatic they were. But the actual sporting achievement of those two clubs in terms of how tight it was and how many games City had to win. I think we had to win 14 games in a row after that game. The actual standard of football, for me, was the highest standard ever seen in the Premier League. In terms of controlling the games, in terms of the fitness of both sides. I think both those sides would have beaten most other sides in Premier League history, in my opinion, in a Premier League title.
I disagree, but I do hear what you're saying. And in terms of the football and everything that we saw, the amount of goals, the amount of points, everything unreal. We can't talk about title races without talking about Keegan in 95, 96, and obviously losing his mind. I think they lost a 15-point goal difference. Eric Cantona's goal at St. James's Park, we won 1-0, and that was the moment when you feel like you're winning this league now. I know we won it Middlesbrough, I think, final day, 3-1. But when we, beat Newcastle, I was 6, 7 years old, and all I can remember is Eric Cantona, like everyone surrounds him, and he kind of looks into the crowd and just screams. And it was just a big sense of relief, like, we're going to win this title, but also just, I don't know, that moment for me just sticks with me. And obviously Keegan's rant was unbelievable.
Obviously, I'm a little bit younger than you, so
we had Liverpool as well. Don't forget Rafa Benitez's fax rant in 09.
I was going to ask you, so the Kevin Keegan one is the most famous rant in Premier League history from a manager, arguably.
It's up there with fax.
Yeah. I think it matters.
But it is the most incredible
it probably is. Did that make you feel that the Premier League title was slipping away from Newcastle? Was there an actual, at the moment, did you think, wow, this guy's lost his head? Because the reason I'm saying that is because I'm seeing Arteta a little bit in press conferences, lose his head a little bit, especially on the touchline for Arsenal. Does it affect the Premier League?
I haven't seen any resemblance from Arteta, if that's what you're asking.
But do you think that if that moment was to come, especially...
I think it does affect the title race, and I do think they affect the dressing rooms.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool's players, when they saw Rafa Benitez doing that, they would have pissed themselves laughing.
Yeah.
But I also think they would have gone, please don't.
Yeah.
And I think Fergie would have went, boys,
ate that up.
We've got him.
Yeah.
We've absolutely got them right where we want them. I think it's vitally, it changes.
100%.
And I think the same with Keegan.
Yeah.
I think he would have gone, we're under his skin.
Yeah.
He's cracked.
Yeah.
And that's perfect.
Should we wrap up with one more to make it 5 in total then? Leicester City. I know it's different because they didn't have a Man United breathing down their necks or Man City. Really, they didn't have anyone breathing down their necks because Arsenal and Spurs were kind of bottling it between them. But that run to see Leicester City winning game after game.
We say that though, but I remember Arsenal winning at the Emirates, Danny Welbeck against Leicester. And Arsenal felt like they were favourites at that point because there was you see, like when Man City are top of the league now, you kind of go, they're going to keep winning. You see, when Arsenal are top of the league right now, I know it's less so, but you kind of think, they're a big club.
Yeah.
They should win.
Hold on to
it. Even in a normal season, they should win 67% of the games. So they're probably going to win the league. I know it's looking differently now, but with Leicester, you still had that. They could lose 5 out of the next 10 games.
Every week.
You still fought that, and you thought one defeat would be the end of it.
Yeah.
So and especially when they had that moment against Arsenal where Arsenal win.
That's true. Yeah. So they had a big win against City as well, and they absolutely smashed us off the park. So I think we have to throw Leicester City in there for sure.
Therefore, listen, incredible amount of people have joined our Super 6 League. We've got just under 4,800 at this moment in time as we speak, but we want to change that right now. Join our league, download the app on your Play Store, your Google App Store, wherever you download your apps from. Download the Super 6 app. Join our league, Club S6, and remember, you could win a classic football shirt voucher every single round if you finish at the top of our league. But to do that, you have to beat myself, you have to beat Boovy, you have to beat Rory, and everybody else in our league to get that £100 voucher. And if you correctly predict 6 scorelines, you'll win £250,000. The next 6 fixtures, Boovy, we're going to go through these as well. Brighton versus Wolves, Brentford versus Forest, Newcastle Southampton, United versus Aston Villa, Fulham versus City, and Liverpool versus Spurs. Any dead certs in there, Booth?
For me, Man United versus Aston Villa is a massive one. I think Man United at home have got a massive opportunity. Brighton versus Wolves, we'll start off there. Will Brighton be negatively affected by the FA Cup semi-final? That could be a massive issue for them in terms of
They've got loads of games in hand as well, which doesn't help because they're all going to come pretty quickly.
All condensed, and obviously they played extra time at Wembley, which is a hard thing to do.
They've got like 9 games in the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, for me, I think the biggest, if there is an upset anywhere, it might be Wolves going to Brighton in this fixture list for me.
What about Southampton, Newcastle? Could they pull off an upset?
Yeah, if Southampton show the fight they showed at the Emirates, I think they displayed a lot of quality. I think in the final 20 minutes, the big thing for them was who was coming off the bench to replace Lavia when his legs were tired. You know, Ward-Prowse, for example, who can replace these guys without Lavia and Ward-Prowse in midfield? They got absolutely nothing, Southampton, and they'll get relegated quicker than you can say any word you want. So, for me, Southampton, they could go to Newcastle and nick a draw if they play up to it, but it's hard. Newcastle look like an unbelievable form.
Chuck a spanner in the works for you boys?
The only thing I like about Fulham, obviously I'm not to be too arrogant about it, that Fulham have dropped off a little bit. I think they were pushing European places. They looked unbelievable at the start of the season. Mitrovic, everyone was raving about him. He has fallen off a little bit.
That FA Cup game against us proper scuppered their plans, didn't it?
Yeah, it's hard for these clubs. I think them coming 10th is a fantastic season, but based on how good they were earlier in the season, they would have taken 7th, even 8th, that kind of position. So, yeah, I think we'll beat Fulham. Liverpool versus Tottenham is such a massive game historically.
We're doing that on the club live. Right, I don't want to ask for all your predictions to these games, so I'm going to ask for one prediction. We'll do the one that we're going to cover live.
Yeah.
Liverpool Spurs, because we don't want to give everyone our predictions, because then they got a chance to, potentially beat us. So Liverpool versus Spurs, if you had to give a score prediction, where are you going? I'm
going 4-0 Liverpool.
Jeez. I'll go for a Desmond.
Really?
Little 2-2, yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, there's the only dead set is Manchester United winning. Remember, it's a free shot or £250,000 if you get 6 scorelines correct on the Super 6. We are loving being involved at the moment. Club S6 is our league. That's the code. Club S6, all one word. Join our league. Remember, you could win that £100 classic football shirts voucher. In addition, so not only could you win £250,000, you'd have a new football shirt on as well.
New football shirt.
That sounds like a perfect
weekend. You
can
get Sean Gert on the back, lads. And we have to say thanks so much. There's over 4,600 people in the league. And every single one of you have got fantastic chat. That's just my opinion.
Although sometimes he does lie. Anyway, thank you to Super 6 for sponsoring us at the club. We really do appreciate it and we're loving getting involved.